Are you feeling the calling to start or grow a business that is so aligned with you and everything that makes up who you are? Do you know that there has to be a way to do this without so much hustle and without chasing the latest shiny object, but you're just not sure how? You can definitely have a dream business that improves, not consumes your life, that allows you to work with soulmate clients while helping you and your family financially and in all ways. You can elevate yourself to be the entrepreneur who has all of her desires. I'm going to show you how on the Elevated Femmes movement. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Elevated Femmes movement. I'm chatting with Tatiana Amico today. She is a growth and evolution coach, which we were just laughing at because we were talking about how evolution changed. Sometimes our titles change. So maybe we'll chat a little bit about that. But Tatiana, I would love for you to just share with us a little bit about your story and how you became an entrepreneur and what got you to doing the work that you're doing now.
Yeah, hi. I'm super excited to be here. So thank you. It all started when I actually got laid off from a job. And, I had been for a while, the whole thought of like, I know that I'm meant to be doing something else. Like, right. I did went to college, got a job, all of that. And at all of these different jobs that I was at, there was just always something inside of me saying, this isn't really for you, but security. And this is the shoulds, like I call it. These are the shoulds. We're supposed to be following everything that we've been told. And this is how you do things, right? So I would just shove it down and shove it down and shove it down. And I ended up getting laid off a week after I found out that I was pregnant with my first. And I remember, when they told me that, I remember being like, oh no, right? Like, this is scary. I'm about to have my first child and not have an income coming in. But I also left with this smile on my face. I knew it was like, this is what you've been asking for. So just take it. I had secretly been wanting to be, I guess, like pushed out because I wasn't going to make that decision, So I was at home and I had been getting really into health with myself. That's a whole other story. And I had my son and everything was great until I had that come up again. That, Tati, there's something else here. Like, there's something else here for you that you're meant to be doing. And I just started Googling. And I found out that I could be like, go and get certified to be a health coach and help other people with that. And I remember sitting on the couch right here and my mom with me, she's like, do it, go for it, and I was freaking out, that whole thing. So I started off doing 10 years ago. It's 10 years. This is my journey. This is the evolution, right? 10 years ago, I started off doing grocery store tours. I was super into teaching others about the stuff and the food industry and all of that. So I started off doing grocery store tours where people paid me $25 to be with them, like essentially coaching them, not just showing them for like hours, right? So that's where I started, where I was like even petrified to even take $25 from someone for that. And then I started actually coaching, which was really scary for me to do as well. And I did get into network marketing. And when I got into network marketing, it was health related, but I also had to I was building this business. I was learning more about growing a business, and also helping others. And I started getting really into this whole idea of, being a mom and like really listening to yourself and going after your dreams and not like settling for what we're told to, right? Not just following those shoulds, like I say. And being a mom is more than enough. It's more than enough. It's amazing. But again, being able to really listen to ourselves. So now for me, it's that whole intuition piece of knowing that we actually know what we're here to do. Can I listen to it? Can I trust that? Do I feel safe going after it? So I ended up writing a book all about that, helping moms build their own businesses. And then I started my own business doing that back in 2019, not just moms, but like helping others outside of the network marketing really grow their business, getting their offers, figuring out what they're there to offer, launching it, all of that. And I always had that, people would have it, but it's like they weren't making moves. They weren't making the moves. because entrepreneurship is scary. All of your stuff comes up, right? Like
Yes.
all of your stuff comes up that you did not know what was there. I say like, this has been such a blessing in disguise because I didn't know how much I really needed to work on myself. Like I didn't know how much stuff I had until I got into this. And honestly, I was in it for years until a couple years ago when I realized, whoa, you haven't even scratched the surface, right? Like I was always doing this surface level work. And like the mindset work when I had to like really go in and allow myself to see what was there that I wasn't looking at. So that led me to what I'm doing now, which is really helping women with that and how that right there, when we really go deeper and do that deeper internal work, yeah, we'll put out our offers and stuff, but it's going to be more powerful, right? It's going to be because we're going to be in our power more. So it's just going to amplify our impact. We're going to be able to help our clients on a whole other level, serve people on a whole other level. I even say, even when I just go to the store, even when I just go to Target, right? Like people are going to feel me in a whole other way because I'm doing that kind of work on myself. So being able to like consciously lead is huge. And that's my evolution. Like that's where we are right now. So yeah, it's been pretty cool.
That's awesome. I love the different twists and turns that you've taken in your journey. I have a bit of a similar story too, like starting, with one thing. I also did a bit of network marketing, realized this is not my personality. I don't thrive in this, but all these different things led me to what I'm doing now. And I feel like I can, just like you said, you show up more powerfully, more confidently because you have all the things under your belt and you've done work. I mean, it's important to do that mindset work to figure out because I think a lot of times from talking to other people and even from working with entrepreneurs in podcasting and just being around in the entrepreneurial space now, I've been in the online space for 7 years, a little more maybe. But I think a lot of times we start businesses because we want, how do I put it? It's like we want something that is it's our baby, right? Like we create this baby and it becomes so intimate with it. It's like our little baby. We want to protect it. Like God forbid somebody talk bad about our baby, or God forbid like a client not be 100% happy, or, God forbid we only sign, 4 clients instead of 10, we start to make it mean that there's something wrong with us. And it's normal. I mean, it happens to everybody. Like I've seen brand new business owners complain about this. I've heard, 8-figure business owners complain about this. And it's just, it's part of that process of evolution, right? Like you might start a business having one idea of like, okay, well, this is why I want to start a business. And then it turns into something else. I think it's also like, it's interesting because a lot of times, we're moms, right? So we want to start a business so that we can spend more time with our kids, right? We don't want to be working till 8 p.m. at night or, having to answer to a boss who tells us yes or no, you can take days off, or sends us traveling around to places we don't want to go. We want to be the CEO of our time, right? And I think then it becomes, as you grow and as you scale your business, it becomes more about impacting others too. Like you can impact your community, you can impact the world. And that's really, really cool. The more that you can do for others is just a great testament to like that purpose that you're here for. So it's so cool. I know I have other questions for you that I want to make sure I ask you and Tatiana, but I liked how you brought up the fact of like, a lot of us want to do the shoulds, the things that we told we should be doing to be successful. But also you mentioned something that you wanted to talk about, which is like the noise out there, the gurus out there who, have very sexy marketing. They make us believe that we are missing something and that if we pay them, $30,000, we're going to have the answers to, making our wildest dreams come true. So can you share a little bit more about that with me, like your experience with the noise and what you think you're doing to like eradicate the noise out there in the online space?
Yeah. I mean, so the noise, I just want to say this, right? For me, the noise really started in the beginning when I started my business, when other people, they might have been like poo-pooing what I was doing, or telling me I should do this, or, whatever it might be. So the noise could be different for everybody. And then obviously we have our own internal stuff that's coming up telling us we can't, etc. Everyone is so different. Everyone is on their own journey. But when it comes to what you just said, I am currently really, I think hopefully I'm at the tail end of this, but really working on my, like, having compassion for myself and even some forgiveness work for all of the investments that I made and all of the shiny things, where it's more about the fact that I thought that I needed someone else's secrets and someone else's like codes and someone else's this, versus me really being able to listen to myself and trust myself. So I'm gonna be real too. I was saying this stuff, right? I was like out there preaching, like, listen to yourself. You don't need to be like anybody else. And then when I had to take a hard look at myself, and I was like, oh, you are not in integrity with what you're saying, girl. Like, and that's hard. That's hard to see that and be, getting honest with yourself. And then again, lots of compassion, lots of loving myself, lots of saying all the things that I had to say that I really was, thinking about me, or honestly, even others around all of this. But that's what it leads to is, why am I falling for all of this shiny stuff that's out there? Why can I not just go in and listen to me? And side note, it's important, if you are getting any sort of support like this, is to really have someone who is helping bring that out of you. Not, this is exactly what you need, and this is the only way, and this is my way, and this is the only way that works, right? It's like, no, it's about really tuning into you and what works for you, because we're all so different. Like, we are just all so different. So that is really important, but I fell for it all. So I really, really did. And again, lots of internal work on myself, forgiveness about all the investment, the money that I have spent, which I can look back and be like, okay, I'm a little upset, but it also got me here. It also got me to this place. And now I know how to help people in a whole other way, because I know that I don't want to be like that. And this is what I want to do for others. And this is how I want others to feel when they come into my space. And this is what I want to happen for them when they come into my space. And I want them to know that they're enough. That was another thing of mine, that my big wound is that I'm not enough. So that's why I was constantly looking. Somebody else must have the answers, some guru, some this, because I must not know. And also afraid of being wrong. So I was looking, always looking towards others. Now, when I'm getting the support, it's from a different place internally, right? So when we are able to look at all of that and see, now when I'm making my decisions, it's coming from a way more empowered place. And I'm, again, choosing to work with those that are able to help me in this sense, versus I have all the answers for you and this is the exact way to do it,
Yeah. And I think I want to make a caveat there that I'm not saying that we need to do things ourselves. I think there's definitely a need for support in having businesses. I'm kind of talking more about like the shiny objects, and like when we think, oh, the reason why this isn't working is because I'm missing this thing over here, but maybe I already know what I need to be doing, but I'm just not doing it, and I want to like distract myself, so I'm going to go do over here, do something else. But what you're talking about too with the noise out there, the opinions of others, maybe we can call it that, is it's also another important thing, because I think this is maybe more relevant to newer entrepreneurs, but I think people can resonate still, like when there are a lot of naysayers, or even when there's like the trolls, right? The trolls that come after us. I knock on wood, I haven't had this happen to me, but I've seen it happen to other people, especially
in their ads, I see some nasty comments on people's Instagram and Facebook ads. And I'm like, oh my goodness, people just have the audacity to, be so mean because they can hide behind their keyboards. What tips do you have for people who are maybe navigating like the negative people who are not supportive? Maybe it's family or like the strangers who are like bringing on their negativity.
Yeah. So this is I've actually been thinking about this lately, and I've been calling it, I used to put on this mask, and it was my badass mask. And it essentially what that looked like was, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care, like whatever, like screw them, haters gonna hate, like but that was the energy. Like you could feel my energy around that, right? I had to go in and look and like, why am I getting so riled up about this? Why am I getting so upset? Because I used to be the one, I would get very defensive. Like that was my self-protection. I was defense, right? I was a fighter. And it was because I was so afraid of being wrong. That was like a big thing for me, right? Like, oh my gosh, what if I'm wrong? So I got to self-protect. Like I got to show up and be like, making sure that these people know that, no, I'm right and they can't do that. And I'm just going to block and defriend, right? And like do all of that stuff. So anyway, honestly, that's my first tip, is like, just become really aware of what is going on inside, right? So if someone comes at you and says something, is a naysayer, whether it be in your family or on the socials, just check in, like take a moment before you do anything and just get curious, like what's coming up for me? What's coming up inside of me? Like what's going on? Just so that then when we show up and we say whatever we're going to say or do whatever we're going to do, again, thinking about like, where do I want this to come from? When I speak up, where do I want this to come from? Like, how do I want to feel? Who do I want to be when I'm, talking to, I don't know, my family, my friends, or the random person on the internet that has no idea who I am and what I stand for, right? So that's important to do that. It's more about ensuring that you are able to handle it and being safe in that, because a lot of people won't show up because of that. Right? Like they won't do the post. They won't speak their truth because they're so afraid of what others are going to say. They're afraid of being seen. They're afraid. Like I see it all the time, right? It's like, you're kind of like peeking behind the curtain when really you need to get your booty on that stage and speak your truth and tell the world what you're here to tell them. So just allowing yourself to take some time and go there and notice. I actually think it's good if that happens for us, because then it allows us to really go in. Like we're going to be given these opportunities to work on what we need to work on in order to show up and do what we're here to do. So that's the most important step. And then you take it from there, right? Like once you know what's really going on, it's like, okay, who am I going to be in these situations? Like, how do I want to feel in this? What am I going to do? And then it's just going to be constantly then doing that and noticing every time that you do and giving yourself props when you show up the way that you do. And then if you happen to not, because we're not perfect, you said something earlier and I forget what it was, but it's okay. Like we're human. It's normal to have like stuff come up. Oh yeah, you were saying it can happen when you just start being an entrepreneur, or you're 8 figures, like stuff is going to come up. It's going to keep coming up. It has to in order for you to grow and evolve, right? So just knowing that and welcoming it. That's something I say a lot is like, we're going to be given the opportunities. Are you willing to welcome them in? Because you know what's going to happen for you as you move through it, as you grow through it, as you evolve through it. Like who you're becoming in that process. So I hope that answered the question.
Yes.
It's hard to be like, do this, and this. It's like, everyone's so different. And it's just, you're going to be in your own journey through it, but recognizing it. And I mean, that's just the power, is when you can recognize that and really be able to work through that and feel safe getting on your own stage, because no matter what, even if people are saying something, it's about really owning who you are and what you do. So that would probably be the foundational piece to this, right? Is like, who are you? What is the impact that you want to make? What is your message here? Like, what is your truth? And do you really believe it? Like, are you an embodiment of it? Do you believe it? Because then when you step out there and say it, it's completely like, that's just it. Like, this is it. This is it for me. And obviously other people are going to have different beliefs and whatever. And that's okay, because this world would be so boring if we didn't. But you staying in your truth is what really matters here, right? Like you being able to stay in your truth, feeling safe in your truth is huge.
Yeah. It's all about authenticity, right? Being who you really are. And that's what's going to help you attract your people. And like you said, there's going to be people who don't resonate. I think focusing on the people who are going to resonate it's a much more powerful place to be than to like let the naysayers get to us. So great advice.
Yeah. And I just want to point this out too, that even though there might be people that are naysayers right in the beginning, I'm always thinking to myself, maybe I'm planting a seed here though. Like they might just not be ready to hear what I have to say right now, but later on, they might not, but they might. I can't tell you how many times I have been the one that's like, no, right? Like when I would read something or whatever it might be. And now I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I get it. I get it. Now I totally this totally resonates with me. Now I get it. But I had to go through some stuff in order to get to that point. So again, this is why it's so important to show up and speak that truth and share your message no matter what, because it's for the people. It's for the people that get it right now. I say this a lot. I haven't said this in a while, so I'm so happy that you brought this up. It's like you're speaking to the people that like get it right now. They want to hear it, or they're ready to hear it. They're willing to hear it. They want to know. And also for those that you're just planting a seed. And even if they don't get it right now, or they don't want to get it, or they want to tell you to go like screw off or whatever, right? You just never know. And they could circle right back around to you. I've had so many people happen like with me where they'd be like, I was not vibing with you. Like, I did not get this. I actually didn't like you. And now I get it. And thank you. You know what I mean? Thank you for continuing to show up and say these things. So it's huge.
Oh my gosh. I love that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love podcasting is because there's people who are going to resonate. There's people who are going to listen to you. They're going to follow your journey. They're going to listen to you every week. Or even if you don't have a podcast, they're going to listen to your live streams, whatever it is, wherever you talk. And they're going to follow you along and they're going to be like, yes, this is my person. I need what she's talking about. And, they're going to take that next step. And then there's going to be that person who's like, no, I don't need this right now. I'm going to be doing this over here right now. But then you never know. There might come a point where like their circumstances change and all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute. What's Tatiana saying over here? What's Julia saying over here? Okay, let me pay attention, right? So that's why it's so important to just serve, right? To have that like value-based mentality of being out there and putting out value to share your people. And I can tell from just talking to you now that you love what you do. I love what I do. So it's like, I'm gonna have to put out value out there anyway. Like I'm going to do it. Right. I'm going to keep showing up.
I've been thinking about this. It's like, I couldn't imagine not sharing things, right? Like I couldn't imagine not waking up in the morning and having something come through for me to share with the world in whatever way it might be. It could even just be in my house, but like not even necessarily for my business. So just, when I first started, though, it wasn't like that. It was very scary for me to say anything. And I've gone through it all. I have gone through the people coming at me, even losing family over the things that I've said, all of that stuff. Again, I look back now and I'm like, oh, I had that badass mask. I would do things very differently now. Right. I hadn't done that deeper level of work in myself. So, but again, it's okay. This is that evolution. This is that growth. This is the journey. This is just loving ourselves, having compassion for ourselves, knowing that we're human, going through it, and it's all good, and who we're becoming through this. And that's what we get to share with the world. Like truly, that's what we get to share with the world. So it's a really awesome, this has just been a really awesome experience for me. Like life-changing, literally, right? Like just completely life-changing. So yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for everything that you shared with us today. So as we wrap up here, where can people follow you if they want to learn more about what you do, if they want to connect with you? Where should they go?
So my website is tatianaamico.com, and there is a complimentary course that I have on there that is my authentic power process, as I have called it, which is really showing you how to do this work deeper. I kind of alluded to it a little bit on here, but it'll take you through truly my process. I really take you through it. So get on that. It's good stuff. Obviously ways to work with me on there. I'm at Tatiana Amico on Instagram, Facebook. What else? Oh, my podcast is Own It with Tatiana Amico. So you could definitely check that out too. That's pretty cool because I have 3 seasons on there right now, and I could just see the evolution of that, the things that I said the first season, to the last season. And it's just really cool to see it all, that we just keep going,
Yeah,
we just keep going.
Here. I feel like a podcast is a great place to kind of see your evolution. I love it. So Own It with Tatiana Amico.
Own It with Tatiana Amico. I was going to say another place, Facebook Memories. Like that's where you really see your evolution. You're like, whoa. Along with pictures of your babies and
of the kids. I love those. Yes, I love those. Well, Tatiana, thank you so much for coming on here with me today, and for all the great nuggets that you shared with us. So make sure you check out her website, check out her course, and we'll share all the links in the notes. And thank you. Thank you to everybody listening. I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Elevated Femmes movement. I would love to hear your thoughts on the podcast, so please leave us a review. If you know someone who could benefit from the episodes on the show, please share it with them. We need more women elevating to their highest potential, enjoying all the great things in life, having plenty of time freedom for their children and loved ones, while doing things smarter and not harder, and growing a business that improves, not consumes their life. To connect with me and download my free resources, please go to www.juliamhickman.com.